Hi, I'm Gary, and welcome to another episode of Physical Format Rock and Roll, where we talk about all things rock and roll and classic metal. So today, our episode is a new music review. It's once again, actually the music is not new, but it's a new release. It is a record store day exclusive release from Alice Cooper. Ta-da! So what this is a live album. And it was recorded back in 1982. It's called Alice Cooper Special Forces Live at the Apollo Theatre in Glasgow. So it's from Scotland. This is when he was touring off of the Special Forces tour, the album that came out in 81, I believe. Now this was a different period for Alice. So, you know, we have Alice, the classic Alice Cooper that everybody knows and loves. The 70s, the rough and ready rock band that was polished up a bit by Bob Ezrin. Produced all those amazing albums that they did. And then the original Alice Cooper band, Alice left them, went on his own, formed different bands, starting with Welcome to My Nightmare. Then he kind of progressed from there, like with albums like Goes to Hell and Lace and Whiskey from the Inside, where it became more kind of Broadway-esque, his music, more storytelling, and it wasn't quite the hard, rocking album. They were all kind of concept type albums. So it had some good music in there, but overall not the best albums. And then he went from there, starting with Flush the Fashion in 1980 to develop a new wave style sound. And he did that for a few albums. And that's what this is from. This is a limited pressing. I can't remember now how many copies were actually made, but like I said, it's a record store day exclusive. I love this cover though. That much I really like, and that would, once again, this would make a very cool t-shirt, I think. So anyway, this was recorded in 82. Like I said, it's during his new wave era. It's also known as his blackout era, because he recorded some albums during this time, from 80 to 83, where he says he doesn't even really remember recording some of that stuff. So Alice was an alcoholic, pretty full-blown alcoholic by this time, and he was also getting into other drugs and stuff. So he had his issues during this time period, so you kind of wonder, well, what's this album going to be like? It's interesting in the fact that it's from the Special Forces album tour, so you know right away, oh, okay, so we'll hear some stuff we don't normally hear. I will say that it is kind of funny that it's from the they're on the tour for the album Special Forces, but there's only 2 songs on the album from that. Who Do We Think We Are and 7 and 7 Is. Both those songs sound pretty good, really, on this album. They open up with Who Do We Think We Are, and it's a pretty good start to the album. There are 4 songs on here from Flush the Fashion, so that's pretty cool. And then there's 3 from Alice Cooper Goes to Hell. So those are ones that you wouldn't necessarily hear live. But I kind of think that's why you would want this album if you're a big Alice Cooper fan. This album is kind of a mixed bag. I think the hardcore Alice Cooper fan would want it. Let's see. But I would recommend, if you're not, I mean, if you're an Alice Cooper fan, but you're not hardcore, where you're like, oh man, I got to hear this stuff, I would actually recommend this for a live record, A Paranormal Evening with Alice Cooper. This came out a couple years ago, and it has his current band playing on that. It's a great live album. I love it. And that's the one I would recommend getting over this. This, to me, is an album more for, like I say, the hardcore fans. There are elements of this album. It's a double record set. There's elements of it that I do like. I like, I think he sounds good on both the Special Forces songs, and it sounds pretty good on the stuff from Flush the Fashion, although, what is it? I don't know. You know what? Actually, I kind of thought Grim Facts and Pain would be a little bit better than what they are. I mean, they're not bad, but there's an element on this album where, Alice is at this stage where it's almost like he's not sure what to do. At times, he wants to take some of his older material and add some of these new wave elements to it. That doesn't always work. Sometimes it works to give it a little bit different sound, but it's not necessarily the best sound. And his singing on here, because he's trying to sing sometimes like in a more new wave kind of style, punkish tones, or the way he enunciates and different things like that, doesn't always work with the lyrics. There are times where it's like, it just doesn't sound good. And then there's other times where it's, it's cool. I know where it doesn't sound good is the ballads on here. Like he does Only Women Bleed, which he doesn't do all of that. They only do part of that song. That doesn't sound good. I Never Cry doesn't sound good at all. And I actually kind of thought I Never Cry, which actually is a song that he wrote about being an alcoholic, basically. I thought during this time period, maybe he would do a really good job of it, but it doesn't sound very good. Generation Landslide is on here, so that's kind of cool to hear that live. It's not too bad. School's Out is on here, which, us hardcore Alice Cooper fans, I only need to hear that song live. I never listened to it like at home. At live, yeah, I still love it. But he does it on here, but it's one of the deals where he's introducing every band member and they get to, mess around a bit or whatever. So that's one of those things, probably once you hear that once, you're not really going to need to hear it again. I'm 18. Do not like that on here. I don't like the version of No More Mr. Nice Guy on here too much either. But like I said, limited pressings. If you're a hardcore Alice Cooper fan, and you've got to hear this kind of stuff, some of these songs you want to hear live because you've never heard it. It sounds good. It's a pretty good recording as far as that goes. So it's got that going for it. So the songs that are good, it is nice to hear them live. But if you're a little more on the casual side of Alice Cooper fan and you don't have to have all that stuff, I would skip this one. So that's my short review of this album. And thank you very much, everybody who's watched this. And anybody that would like to leave comments, by all means, please do. And if you want to subscribe to this channel, please click on subscribe. I appreciate it very much. I'm Gary. This is Physical Format Rock and Roll. Until the next time.